Hey guys, Mike here. Today we're going to be working on a 2003 Chevy Monte Carlo. We're going to be replacing the left front wheel hub assembly. So I'm going to run through on how to check and see if maybe you need to have one replaced. Okay guys, so one of the things you can do to see if you need a wheel bearing is to jack up the vehicle and get the wheel that you suspect up in the air. And if you don't suspect a certain one, you can get the wheels off and spin them, or if they're the drive wheels, you can get the axle in the air, put it in drive, and just let it spin and listen. But for this vehicle, it's obvious that we need a wheel bearing on this side, and I'll show you why. So you want to give the suspension or wheel a kind of a shakedown to find out whether or not it needs a wheel bearing. First of all, you can spin it, but this is the drive wheels, being that this is a front wheel car. So right now that's kind of not going to happen because I only have one of the wheels jacked up. Otherwise, if I jacked the whole front end up, I could have the vehicle in drive, and that would let me spin the tires in drive and then get some kind of noise out of it. But right now, I'm going to grab the tire from the top and the bottom and give it a shake. Now, as you can see, that's quite a bit of movement. Now, you can also move it the other way and see that there's quite a bit of movement. Now, if you move this way and you get movement in the wheel and tire, 9 times out of 10 that's your wheel bearing. This way, it could be a tie rod end, a ball joint, or a wheel bearing. This way, it could be a ball joint or a wheel bearing. Now, the fact of the matter is, the actual hub behind the knuckle, rather, is not moving when I do that. So I know that the suspension or the ball joints and the tire ends are in good shape because the knuckle does not move at the same time. So when I move the tire and wheel assembly, all that's moving is the rotor and the wheel. So that means that we need a wheel bearing on this side. Okay, now that we can see the entire assembly under here, you could try and give it a shake again here, but that's really not going to tell you much. What you want to do is kind of grab the lug nuts and give it a shake. That's your best bet, but with the tire and wheel on is really the best way to do it. So next, we're going to go ahead and remove our brake caliper and our brake caliper bracket, and then we're going to remove our rotor. Okay guys, so when you're taking off brake caliper slide bolts or slide pins, the kind that have the plungers, you need to make sure you know which one was the top and which one's the bottom. The kind with the rubber plunger at the end needs to go on top, and the one without a plunger goes on the bottom. Always store brake pads with the friction side up so you don't get dirt or anything on them. Make sure you remember which one was the front and which one was the back. Remove our rotor. And you can lean the rotor up against something so you don't get any dirt on either side of that. If you do, you can wipe it down, no problem. Now you guys may not be able to see this, but there is some definite movement in that hub assembly there. Alright, and then you can just set that nut aside somewhere, make sure you don't lose it. Now, behind this assembly, there are 3 long bolts, and those are 1/2-inch hex head bolts, and we're going to go ahead and remove those now. Okay, so the 3 bolts that are behind the hub assembly, one is here, one is on the right side down here, and one is on the left side. Now all 3 of those are fully accessible from the rear, and I'll show you. The head of one of them is literally right there. The other is back here. Can you see? I don't know if you guys can see that. The other is there, and then the one on the right side, of your right side, is right here. So there's definitely no way that you need to remove the CV axle to get all 3 of those bolts removed. I'm starting with the one on the left. So the one on the left is the one I'm going to remove first. And as you can see, I got to it, so we're going to remove that. Didn't take much force to break it loose, so It's always a nice thing, you know, to beat on stuff to get it to work right. Okay, so I've gotten a short extension because the top one is kind of a difficult place to get into. The socket doesn't fully reach the distance, so grab a short extension and then you should be perfectly fine getting back there. Shouldn't have a problem after that. Yep, I got back there just fine. Alright, so you get the last bolt out, and then you're going to have a shim behind this assembly, and sometimes you're going to have to tap on this guy with a hammer to get it out, to get the splines out. And if you do use a steel hammer or something heavy, make sure you put the nut back on to cover the threads. You don't want to damage those threads. It'll come right off. Now, you want to keep this shim behind the assembly because that mounts just like this, and that holds your ABS harness on the right side, and it also acts as a shim. Alright guys, so here's our new hub assembly, and if you'll notice, there is no ABS sensor on this specific one. There was on the old one. There's the wires there. Somebody cut them off a long time ago. But at the customer's request, I'm replacing it with no ABS sensor. We're going to reinstall our shim here. Take our new hub. Make sure we match up those holes. Get your splines in there and your CV axle. I'm going to start the bolts. I'm not going to thread them. I'm just going to set them back there to hold this shim in place because this shim is like keeps falling down. So the bolts in the back will come. Now when you get your bolts in, it's better for you to start the ones on each side first rather than the one on the top. That'll get it drawn down nice and evenly. Install your rotor and your brake caliper bracket. An easy way to keep this rotor straight when you reinstall it to get your brake caliper bracket to sit right, you can put some of the lug nuts back on, just a couple of them, to hold the rotor down. And let the vehicle down. She's ready to go. Well guys, thanks for watching, and I really appreciate all the support that I've been getting. Till next time, see you later.